My father came. They called my father. Father came. Then to my father,
Mr. Wee datang.
and my dad came in the police uniform.
Oh no.
Podcast tak berlesen episod baru. Hari ini kita ada tetamu yang paling seram.
Kenapa seram?
Sebab biasanya kalau orang jumpa dia ni, orang takut. Takut kena saman ke? Takut kena tarik masuk mahkamah ke?
Kau tak takut ke? Tak boleh lesen ni?
Yelah, dah lah kita tak ada lesen. Alamak. Tapi kita kena minta pandangan orang tu lah. Sama ada macam mana kita dapat lesen dekat podcast ni.
Okay.
Perkenalkan Richard Wee.
Ni lah bahaya ni. Kita podcast tak lesen susah.
Yes. Actually, I also don't know nak buat this episode dalam BM ke BI because Richard.
Aku rasa tu soalan kau every
Flexible.
episode. Macam setiap episode mesti tadi bahasa Melayu.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Aku cubalah cakap Melayu, tapi kadang-kadang dah kita sebagai peguam dah biasa cakap English selalu. So a bit tough to sometimes explain the matters in bahasa Malaysia lah.
Yeah.
So we'll try. Kita boleh.
I thought dalam mahkamah peguam akan back and forth dalam bahasa Malaysia.
Betul. Mahkamah di mahkamah magistrate, mahkamah session, mahkamah rendah lah. Lazimnya bahasa Melayu. Tapi kat mahkamah tinggi, mahkamah rayuan, campur-campur, kebanyakannya bahasa Inggeris. Tapi kita sebagai kerja komersial, kerja niaga, kerja transaksi, bahasa Inggeris.
I see.
Lazimnya lah, lazimnya.
Lazim biasa je lah.
Tapi kena tengok juga kalau anak guam tu Melayu, then cakap Melayu. So I can speak, tapi kadang-kadang nak explain tu sebab the terminology kebanyakannya dalam bahasa Inggeris.
Yalah.
Kebanyakannya lah. Tapi tak apa. Kita cakap je tak apa.
Layan je.
Okay, layan je lah. Okay, untuk pengetahuan pendengar kita lah kan, yang mungkin first time kenal, Encik Richard Wee ni, dia ada law firm sendiri. Beliau terlibat dalam berbagai sektor dalam kewangan, termasuk dengan sektor sukan dan juga e-sukan. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Betul, tepat.
Jadi sebab itulah dia ada dekat sini, sebab dia pun tahu drama-drama dalam e-sport ni.
Dia lagi tahu apa drama tu betul atau salah.
Dia lagi tahu exactly, right? Ya, so sebab tu kita nak tanya dia. Tapi sebelum kita pergi pada drama-drama lah kan, kita nak turn back time, kita nak back to the future. Okay, how did you what was your childhood like?
Betul-betul balik tu.
Back
zaman tu. Pertama sekali saya nak terima kasih lah kepada to both of you kerana sudi mempelewa orang tua macam aku mari ke sini. Aku rasa akulah yang paling tua. Aku dah berumur 51 tahun. I'm 51 years old. So I'm very sure I'll be your oldest guest. I cannot imagine you having anybody older than me.
Ni kali pertama yang ada guest lagi tua daripada host.
Oh yes, correct. Betul.
Tak ada lagi
orang tua ya. So yes, pertama sekali saya ucapkan terima kasih lah kepada to the both of you for having me here today. Saya sebenarnya orang Kelantan.
Kelantan.
Mak ayah saya Kelantan, tapi aku lohak Kelantan dah punah dah. So mak ayah saya dua-dua orang Kelantan, daripada Tumpat Kelantan. Yang tahu Kelantan tahulah Tumpat Kelantan. So masa saya dilahirkan di Kota Baru, 1973 lah masa tu. Tapi ayah saya masa tu dia dah bertugas sebagai polis. So beliau sebenarnya bertempat di Ipoh. So saya tak sampai, according to my mother lah, tak sampai 3 bulan aku dah kat Ipoh dah. So while I was born in Kelantan, tapi my childhood most of the time was in Ipoh lah. So kat Ipoh, saya dilahirkan di Kelantan, dibesarkan di Ipoh, dan masuk sekolah kat St. Michael's Institution in Ipoh. Those who are from Ipoh will know that school is a very large school in Ipoh, run by the dulu orang Kristian, the Mubalik Kristian. Tapi sekarang dah diketuai oleh Kementerian Pendidikan. Then after that, in Form 6, sometime in 1991, I moved to KL. Masa tu ayah saya, normal lah anak polis kita ikut ayah. So 91, my dad was transferred to Bukit Aman. My mom was a homemaker, housewife. So we followed our dad to Kuala Lumpur in 1991. And I've been in KLPJ since then, 91. I've not gone back to Ipoh. Balik tu balik cuti lah, atau balik Kelantan tu balik raya. Macam di Chinese New Year, sometimes you go back. Or orang Cina pergi cembeng so balik lah. Tapi basically now I consider myself orang PJ lah. Pakai sini, durian kat sini. Everything here lah. So that's how my life journey has been lah.
Tengok dia sebut makan tu.
Ya, ada lagi slang sana.
Ada lagi sikit.
Ada lagi kecek Kelantan.
Ada lagi. Still remember the roots, orang kata.
Tak lari juga tu. Walaupun umur 3 bulan pergi Ipoh.
You know, my father dia bekas askar. Pun kat setapak dia benda. That's why betul.
Always transfer around kan.
Always transfer. Akak lahir kat Sarawak. Akak yang kedua lahir kat Penang. Yang ketiga kat KL.
What about you?
Johor, the last place. Dah pencen dah, masa dapat dah pencen already.
So Johor lah.
So me last kali is ke Johor. So I understand masa akak cerita macam moving around. Yeah.
Betul-betul berpindah tu. Okay. So Form 6 and then PJ and then like education wise after that, terus masuk law ke or how or why
so masa tu kat sekolah rendah tu St. Michael's Institution Ipoh lah, from standard 1 to form 5, and then I wanted to do my form 6 lah in St. Michael's Ipoh. As a Michaelian, actually it is an honor lah to finish your school in form 6. Tapi malangnya my father was transferred here, so I could never finish that 2 years in St. Michael's Ipoh. But I actually moved to a PJ school called Sekolah Menengah Sultan Abdul Samad, which is very near to University Malaya. And actually now, most of my close buddies and rakan-rakan sejawat, rakan-rakan seperjuangan, memang daripada Samad. Then after that, in 92, 93, I finished my Form 6. Didn't do very well because masa tu zaman Form 6 kita kena buat ke STPM. And then there is of course sometimes some people say sensitive, but the fact is there was a quota lah. So if you are a Bumi Putra Melayu, then there's a certain result dah boleh masuk. But for me as a Chinese, we needed to get I think 3 A's, 3 A, then out of 5 subjects. Malangnya I 2 B je. Tak cukup lah. So I could have got another degree, but I wanted to do law. So to do law, kita dapat 3A, I gagal. Gagal in the sense tak dapat masuk lah. So I went to this college called Advanced Tutorial Center, ATC, School of Law. That time in the 1990s, that was the leading law school. I studied there where we took the degree for University of London, external degree. So what we did was, what it means by external, yang orang yang tak faham tu, external degree maknanya universiti tu kat London lah. Tapi kita belajar kat sini, tuition kat sini, exam kat sini. Tapi yang cikgu tu kita tak pernah jumpa cikgu kat universiti. We never meet them. So we only meet local tutorial. So it's like kita pergi pusat tuition lah. So then I finished that in 96. Then I did a paper called CLP. So kita sampai peguam, lepas kita tamatkan ijazah sarjana undang-undang, kita mesti menghabiskan one last area called the bar exams. So kalau if you study from UK, you come back to Malaysia, you do what is called the Certificate in Legal Practice, CLP. And I finished that in 97. Then I started practicing in 99 because right after my CLP, kalau yang masih tua macam aku ni tak boleh ingat, zaman 97 tu mata wang kita crash. Crash teruk. So aku ingat lagi masa aku habis CLP tu, kita baca surat khabar. Masa tu tak ada internet, kena baca surat khabar. Tiap-tiap hari duit mata wang kita makin lama makin turun. Sampai satu tahap tu aku ingat lagi, $1 dekat RM7. Satu pound, satu British pound dekat RM9. Aku ingat lagi So banyak orang hilang kerja. Many people don't know about this. So masa tu aku tahu kalau aku mulakan training, got to be a lawyer after you do your LLB, do your law degree, then you do your CLP. Kita kena buat training 9 months. Orang lazimnya orang panggil dia chambering lah. So I was supposed to do my chambering.
Okay.
And
not
I
slavering people.
Not slavering, chambering. So itu bahasa orang kata kolokvial lah. Bahasa kolokvial. What it means by chambering is because you work under the chambers of a senior lawyer. So dia menamakan chambering, you know. So masa tu pupillage tu, chambering tu 9 months. Aku tahu dah kalau aku mula memang susah lah sebab law firms were suffering at the time. So what I did was I joined a law school to become a lecturer. Because saya memang suka even in school I like to tutor, I like to guide people, and it was something I enjoyed. So even my lecturers at the time keep on telling me, Richard, kalau you tak jadi peguam, you jadi pensyarah. So I decided to take up a job as a lecturer because masa tu, zaman tu, walaupun ekonomi merosot, tapi semua college masih sustaining.
Education never
die. So because of the economy. So saya pun mengajar undang-undang lebih kurang setahun lebih. Masa tu kat this college called Goons College. Tapi dah tutup dah. Goons College. I teach law. And then masa 1998, economy became a bit more stable. Baru saya start chambering lah. And I finished in chambering in 1999. Okay. Saya diterima masuk sebagai peguam in 1990. So yang tak faham ni, kita sebagai peguam, proses dia kena habiskan ulang LLB, the law degree, then the bar exam, then kita buat chambering 9 months, then kita kena apply ke mahkamah tinggi untuk diterima masuk sebagai peguam bela perkara. Baru boleh jadi peguam. Banyak proses ni. Then proses nak dipanggil ni ke mahkamah, mahkamah akan memeriksa lah. Dia tengok kita punya background, ada kena tangkap ke dulu, kena curi ke. So ada kes orang yang dah buat semua ni, dia terlupa masa dia 16 tahun tu dia kena tangkap. Sebab dia ambil kereta bapak dia laju dan kena arrested. So you get stopped. You may not be allowed to get called to the bar.
There any way to macam reverse that decision?
You have to apply back, and then sometimes you need to get a letter of release, and then
dia kena rayuan
lah.
But of course this is very rare lah. So I tahu for a fact that some cases I tak nak sebut nama lah, tak baik sini, tapi saya tahu ada sejarah, ada peguam yang ada orang berijazah, dia tak peguam, cannot become peguam, dia telah pickpocket, not pickpocket, shoplift. Shoplift in UK. Shoplift in UK. I don't know why this person shoplift in UK and was arrested by the British police.
Wow, besar lah.
Ni cerita lama. This is in the 1990s. 1990s and 80s. So this person was arrested by the British police for shoplifting. So was recorded. Dia masuk lock up for 1 day. Of course he apologized. He explained. I don't know what happened lah. I don't know why. Kita the time under Google, so we cannot Google lah. So then this person continued studying law, got CLP, whatever, came to Malaysia, training. So when he was about to apply to masuk mahkamah sebagai peguam bela, peguam cara, tak dibenarkan. Because of this. So that's our process lah. So then saya diterima masuk. The legal term is diterima masuk dan didaftaraikan sebagai peguam bela, peguam cara, mahkamah tinggi Malaya. That is the legal term.
But why did you choose law in the first place?
Okay, that's a very good question. Actually, I think it's a combination of a few things lah, Andrew. I've always, personally, sejak aku budak-budak lagi, I remember in school, and even particularly in secondary school, bila saya dah lebih bersedia untuk berbahas, ready to debate with somebody, or you should get a bit more matured. I really dislike when people bully somebody else. I really don't like bullies. I don't like people who talam dua muka. You depan macam ni, belakang macam ni. To me, I've always grown up believing that a person should conduct themselves with responsibility and accountability. I think this also must give credit to my parents because they are both very disciplined people. My dad being police, I think naturally you know lah. You kat rumah kalau salah permak pun muka.
Tangan dia laju.
Tangan puff, Then my mother was also a very strict person. And I think that background inculcated that habit in me. And the same habit is in my sister. Sama, kita both are the same. So I knew that it has to be my parents lah. So then when I was in school, I remembered one particular incident. I don't know whether the school teacher was a racist. I don't know. Because this one friend of mine, and he was an Indian boy.
Okay.
Kononnya dia buat something wrong. I can't remember now lah what was something wrong. But I remembered he wasn't wrong. It wasn't wrong. And the best thing, ada budak lain, budak Cina lah, budak India lah, all boys school lah, budak Melayu, semua buat ni. Tapi dia pick on this one boy.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't sure why. Then when the teacher was scolding my friend, and he wasn't even my close friend. No. Aku kenal je. You know, the time school boys, so we hang out with our own gang.
Yeah.
He was sitting in the other side of the class. So I kenal dia lah. So I don't think he did wrong. So I remember that incident. I must have to standard 6. I was 12 years old. So I stood up in my class and I said, "Cikgu, I disagree. Dia tak salah." Oh, the cikgu marah lah. Dia say, "Oh, who are you? Kurang ajar. You stand up. Send me to see the headmaster." So then when the headmaster said, that time I didn't use the name Richard lah. My name is actually Wee Tiam Sing. I'll tell you the name Richard later. Wee Tiam Sing.
So apa dia panggil like Tiam Sing, come here.
Tiam Sing, Tiam Sing, come here. Then the school, the headmaster put up a cane. And at the time I was a prefect.
Oh,
I was a prefect.
Okay.
So the headmaster asked me, Tiam Sing, what happened? Cikgu, Madam ABC complained that you shouted at her. I straight away said, "Sir," I remember that this kind of, "Sir, I have no problem kalau saya dimarah." In English, "Sir, if I'm wrong, you can scold me. But the teacher is lying." Lagi. I said, "That's not what happened." Then I told him, "Sir, if you want to punish me, go ahead, but this is what happened." Then I remember I told the story and I said, that boy didn't do anything wrong. And I think this teacher is selective. Of course, my language was very basic lah. I'm 12 years old. So I would have probably said, "No lah, sir, the fella, the teacher, simply choose the fella." I think so lah. So I'm paraphrasing lah sekarang. So then I remember the incident. Then my father came. They called my father. My father came. Then I told my father,
Mr. Wee datang.
And my dad came in a police uniform.
Oh no.
So he walked in. My father asked me straight, "What happened?" Very firm and stern. So we speak Hokkien, so I told him Hokkien what happened. And I told my dad straight, "Dad, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But my friend is not wrong." So my father turned to the headmaster and said, "You want to punish my son, you go ahead. But I think he's just trying to defend the friend." And he told the headmaster that in front of me, "If my son is biadab, I'll bring him home and give him a tight slap. But if he's trying to defend a friend, what do you find out what happened first?" Something like that lah. So long story short, I wasn't penalized. The headmaster was actually laughing. See how this boy is like he lawyer. So that's where
imagining the laughing guy is like, "No lah, Uncle Wee, Uncle Wee. No lah, Mr. Wee, do like that. We know serious.
Dalam hati, oh my god.
Can I just get this guy off of me, right?"
So I remember after that, saya mula dipanggil peguam, lawyer.
We did in school lah.
Yeah. Then when I masuk secondary, I was again prefect, and then when you're prefect, you manage the regulation of the school. Jadi kita macam pengelola undang-undang kat sekolah. We are the sentinels of law, blah blah blah. So I grew up very interested in this area, and I always felt that I want to give people justice. It's a natural thing. I think Sir Cloud, you talk to me many times. You realize that's how I talk. That's how I deal with it. I'm naturally like that. So when it came to time to finish my Form 5 and my Form 6, masa aku buat Form 6 tu memang aku plan dah. Target aku nak masuk undang-undang. Tapi malangnya, I told you lah about the quota. But to be fair, I think kalau aku Melayu pun I still cannot get in. Because 2B was not enough. Form 6 was very tough. I did well in Form 3 and Form 5, but Form 6 was really tough. Yeah, so I wasn't good enough. And then so I did law privately, and then now I'm here talking to you about law.
And what's about the name Richard then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Richard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it? It's like a box. Then there's a lot of names.
Good point. So actually masa sekolah tu memang I'm a Buddhist. So normally those generation masa zaman kita in the 80s, only a Christian Chinese or Christian Indian will have English names. If you're not a Christian, why should I have an English name? That was the mentality at the time. Sekarang aku nampak Melayu pun ada English name. India, everybody got English name, you know ya.
Terasa.
Melayu pun ada English name?
Aku nampak ada yang Daniel lah, Danny lah, Mario lah, you know, these are all lah.
Okay.
Those are all English names, you know, yeah. So then I remember in Form 3, we were all 15 years old. I was 15 years old. Then aku gang satu budak tu. They were all starting to give themselves English name lah. Ada yang Leon Lai lah, Leslie lah. Or ikut nama Hong Kong lah masa tu cerita. Tony lah. Then they asked me, say, "Wee, you spoke to me in English lah. You ni tak ada nama English ke?" Tak payahlah, aku panggil Wee je lah. So everybody call me Wee. Or Tiam Seng or TS.
TS.
Nama comel lah. TS. So then one of my classmates came to me and says, "We call you Richard lah." So I said, "Oh, okay lah." So I just got stuck with that name. Then whenever we go out, that time those days kita pergi sekolah, school day, jumpa the girls from the convent, you know, or we go tuition, and then my friends would know that name. Then if I meet a girl, then my friend would say, "Hey, his name is Richard." You know, so it got stuck. And then when I went to my law school, up to Form 6, no one called me Richard. Aku selalu panggil Wee or Tiam Seng. You know,
Haven't rebrand.
Then after that, by the time we reached my college, my lecturer asked me, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Wee Tiam Seng." He said, "Very hard to remember." And I said, "Sir, you just call me Richard." Lekat. So then that's where all my classmates in law school call me Richard, and now that's my name, Richard Wee Chambers, my law firm, Richard Wee.
Yeah. Until now. Oh, very simple origin, huh?
Yeah, I like that.
I thought like there's a gacha box. You know, what you say, it's like,
I'm surprised.
Sometimes in life, you will never know how things turn out.
Yeah.
Simple things like that. That one friend who just give you the name, you're stuck with it.
Yeah, you're right.
You never know.
You have a real and, like, say, American name.
Yeah,
and
there was from family. So
mine also, Lin is not my real name, surprisingly.
Oh yeah, jauh gila.
Jauh. My real name is Muhammad Ilham.
But everyone calls you Lin. Then people call you Lin, right?
Yeah, Lin. So my stage name is Lin. So we have our own.
I think I must have a stage esports name also lah. Better create one lah.
Now, people know you as Richard.
That's your stage name.
There's no another Richard in esports.
Richard, we only know who it is.
In law, like you can do a lot of things. Ada commercial lah, whatever lah kan, property and all that. But how did you get into sports and esports more?
Very good question. Sebenarnya sebagai peguam dulu, masa aku mulakan pada tahun 1998-99, jurusan saya masa tu litigasi. Okay. So aku kira tiap-tiap hari saya kat mahkamah lah. Mahkamah kes jenayah lah, kes civil lah. And actually that's where my foundation lah. You are in court every day. So in court, court lawyers usually kerja kita kena menyediakan hujahan, membaca undang-undang, mentafsirkan bukti-bukti, memberi narration, create a narration for the mahkamah to understand. And then of course, we have to win lah. Our job is to win. Tapi kadang-kadang kalau kes tu lemah, I'll tell my client, don't bother fighting, settle. That was my early days. Then eventually I evolved into doing property law, conveyancing, buy and sell house. That was about 2004, 05. I was already 4-5 years in practice. And then I got involved in human rights at one time. I really enjoyed doing human rights matter. Kita tolong orang-orang yang kena curi duit lah.
Pelarian and all that.
Or the thing, even issues of immigration. I remember kita tolong orang Rohingya. We were helping this anak-anak Rohingya yang tidak dibenarkan diberi birth certificate. So mak bapak dia bukan orang Malaysia. So then that is, I can understand the law, tapi pelajaran, education. So these kids were not allowed to go to school, but it's not their fault. For example lah. So that was back in 2006 and 2007. Then aku pun terjurus dalam isu-isu ISA. I don't know whether you all know ISA cases. So ISA is where kerajaan akan menangkap seorang tu dan dimasukkan ke penjara di Kamunting, Taiping tanpa apa-apa bicara mahkamah.
Oh yo.
It's a ISA. It's a very strict law. But that law has been repealed. So I ingat lagi masa tu, pada hemat saya lah, mungkin kerajaan pada tahun tersebut tu tak setuju dengan saya. Tapi pada hemat saya, ada kes-kes yang orang ditangkap ni memang kes aniaya lah. Aniaya. In fact, one of them was Mat Sabu. Lim Kuan Eng. They were detained by the ISA. They went into prison for 2-3 years. Tak ada mahkamah. So I was helping that kind of cases. Then in 2010-11, by then I dah peguam untuk 11-12 tahun dah. Saya mula terlibat dalam kes-kes sukan. So some background, actually I love sports. Walaupun aku gemuk ni, but I love sports. I like playing badminton, tennis and football of course. I enjoy playing table tennis. And then in my younger days, masa tu we do play computer game. Like Atari. And then you know the Atari games in those days. Then we also play the coin games in the arcade center. You know, my favorite was this game called 1943 lah. Then this
1943 the apa shooter
the plane
bawah.
Then there's one game called Radius or Radiant, I can't remember now. Then there's also Tetris.
Yep.
But it's boring, but very good for tactic lah, you know. Yeah. Then that was like between 1988 to 93. I was very involved in games. Then as you start working and studied law at that time, masa tu zaman tak ada esports. So I faded from that lah. So then I love sports. When by 2010-11 I started getting some inquiries about masalah sukan-sukan. So saya mula memberi nasihat dan I enjoy it. I like it because I've always watched sports. Not as a spectator to know the result, but I'm one of those guys yang suka latar belakang.
The history.
Kenapa undang-undang macam ni? What is VAR? Masa tu tak ada VAR lah. Why the referee macam ni? Badminton macam ni? So then when I came to get this case yang a bit technical, it was natural for me. So then that was 2011. Then masa tu I already observed that there's a very massive internet computer games. Where, contohnya kat PJ, kalau those days lah, you go to Damansarajaya dekat KDU. I think it was Orange Sports, I think. I think so. Could be under Frank lah, but I think so. Because you go in, you see all the computer, CPU, 50 people playing game. So I went in to watch, what the hell is this? Then my friends tell me, this is internet gaming. They're playing against each other. Interesting. Kita dulu Tetris 20 cent. So then I started to follow. 2012 or 2013 there was an announcement that there's a new sports called esports. Around the time. So aku tanya apa benda ni? You know. So I started to study it and I remember in 2015 I downloaded Steam to my MacBook because I was told by my young lawyers, masa tu I dah boss. So my lawyer said, boss, you need to download Steam.
Bagus saja mengaku dia dah boss.
I dah boss. Tak cakap lagi dah.
So I was the boss at the time. My law firm. So bawah arahan saya 3-4 lawyers. So they tell me, boss, you need to play this game, Dota 2. And you need to download Steam. Then they explained to me what's a publisher, I was a designer, then who owns the property, the intellectual property, the players, the cosplayers, the marshals, for tournament lah.
The whole scene ecosystem lah. Right?
So I used to log on to watch games, and then of course I was introduced to Twitch at that time. So every night I was on Twitch to watch, sometimes some of the Twitch too pelik, don't know what is happening, but some are very interesting games. Especially my favorite is CS:GO. So I enjoyed watching that, you know. Then 2014-15, I was learning the law about esports. Then I realized tak ada undang-undang. There's no law at the time. Very cowboy. So then I began to get inquiry. Banyak anak Guam cari aku, said, can you help me on this? Can you help me on that?
When these anak Guam, are they players?
There were some of them were players, some of them were entrepreneur. Nak masuk, right? They come and ask me. But everyone realized at the time that everyone don't know what's happening. So anybody at that time, 2014-15, they claim to be esports expert, unless you are player lah. Like for example, Master Raman. Master Raman and Kenchi, these are all old-timers. Even that time, they memang dah tahu dah. But people like me, I cannot call myself expert. So we tried lah to teach, to help our client. Then in 2016, I announced that on our social media that we are prepared to assist esports. Because we've been studying esports for 2 years.
When you say we lah kan?
My firm. My law firm.
The whole company.
Okay. I want to understand, like, because you have many lawyers under you, kan? Like, every single one of the lawyers have enough preparation to go there?
Just a few of us only.
Just a few.
So the pioneer at the time, I was in a law firm called Ma Wing Kwai and Associates. That's my former partner at the time was Raymond Ma, Datuk Ma Wing Kwai. Before that, I was in a law firm called Richard Wee and Yip. So that was where I started the sports. Then in 2016, my ex-partner Yip and I decided to dissolve the firm and move on. We wanted to have different directions. So I moved into Ma Wing Kwai. And it was there that I announced that we'll do esports together with a lawyer called Brian Boo. I think you may have heard of him, Brian Boo. And
it sounds like I know him, but
the name sounds so
big to see face.
I think his esports name is Guardian Angel or something like that.
Are they somewhere on social media?
And recently in the Asian Games, ASEAN Games, he and Cammy and a few others, they went to China to become the esports.
I can't put it. Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
See?
Okay.
Correct. So, Brian Boo. Brian Boo, hi Brian. Yeah. Brian's a really nice guy. Very knowledgeable in esports. I feel that he's better than me. He knows esports. He knows esports very well. Because unlike me, I dah tak main esports. So by the time I masuk balik tu, aku dah kira tertinggal zaman sikit. So I'm a bit outdated. And I'm always chasing at the time. Whereas he was on the ball playing. This is zaman 2014, 15, 16 lah. So we announced, and he and I were helping many esports client. I met people like you. I met Kenchi. I met people in Mineski. People in a group of people who eventually became Todak. You know? So then I met our YB Khairi Jamaluddin, who was Minister of Sports at the time. His people and he himself spoke to me about esports at the time, 2017. So I mentioned to him what's the law there. He said, okay, Richard, can you help the ministry? I said, sure. So masa tu I dah kerja sukan sports law for the ministry. We were doing some work for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So to be fair, while YB Syed Saddiq is very well known for the minister who pushed esports, but credit must be given to YB Khairi because in 2018, just before election, he actually announced that Majlis Sukan Negara under under Datuk Shapawi will start esports. I was there when he announced.
I heard that also from his podcast. Obviously, everybody knows by now. Keluar Sekejap. He mentioned that.
Very good podcast.
He mentioned that. So, actually, I think a lot of people don't know.
Because
the one that announced more bigger stuff was during YB Syed Saddiq's time. We'll talk about that later lah.
So then, lepas tu, we were helping at the background lah to help the legal setup. Because it was a real cowboy. Then once the election came in 2018, we know what happened to the government. That time, changed hand. YB Saddiq came in. And YB Saddiq, of course, is dia memang flamboyant, memang really loves esports. He really loved esports. And he saw that banyak golongan belia Malaysia masa zaman tu dah memang ter-involve dengan esports. So he knew that the government should step in to assist this ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I met him personally a few times together with YB Steven Sim, who is now Minister for Human Resource. And both of them were genuinely passionate about esports. Actually, there's one more person that you all must know about. And he's now a parliamentary member of parliament. But 2018, he was Adun, Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri Pasir Pinji, tak silap saya. YB Howard.
Oh, yeah.
From Perak. YB Howard also genuinely interested. So these people were pushing at the time so that the government can assist. And our involvement at the time, Andrew, was banyak tu tolong about the regulatory aspects, setting up the rules and regulation. And of course, for people like you, came to us on contracts, disputes, tournament, Air Asia Sanyan at the time, Alan Pang at the time. Alan has now, I think, moved on to another area.
Yeah.
So these were the days of 2015, 16, 17, 18, lah, that 4-5 years. Until, for YB Sadiq, to me, his pinnacle for esports was the blueprint. Yeah, so that was until 2019 lah.
So as far as I know, the blueprint is supposed to expire in 2015. It's until 2015.
You mean 2025?
2025.
I think so. I can't remember the exact date.
All right.
But the idea was YB Sadiq's time and YB Steven Sim. They wanted to set a framework lah dengan satu roadmap untuk industri e-sukan ni berkembang, sustainable and develop organically. And in that blueprint, my colleagues and I, we assisted the government to draft certain pages about esports regulation framework on law lah. And I remember I worked with a gentleman in MSN. His name is he's a very hardworking chap. Apa nama dia? Very nice guy. If I remember the name, I'll tell you all later. Yeah.
Okay, tak apa.
Yeah, so I'm going to Google his name. Check on the WhatsApp of his name. So that was what happened at the time lah.
Okay. Is NASDAQ birth out of that blueprint?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the name of the gentleman is Wan Ro.
Oh, Wan Ro.
Wan Ro.
Okay.
Wan Ro.
Okay. Dia kerja kat MSN tu.
Right.
So then later on, in terms of dari segi regulatory and framework, after YB Sadiq, Malaysia tiba-tiba tukar kerajaan, orang semua ni. Sorry to say lah, gila kuasa semua fighting. Should have just stay one government. Then we had not so much problem. Then Dato' Rizal took over. Dato' Rizal is from UMNO. Very nice chap. And he was very focused in developing sports and esports. And walaupun dia, I think, was not personally playing esports, but he supported what YB Sadiq was doing. And he continued growing at the time. Then after him was, we all call him YB Peja. He was a short while. And I think YB Peja's time lah, he started drafting the base of what is NASDAQ. Because I remember at the time, Menteri Berlesen engaged an organisation called Futurize. Futurize is an entity di bawah Ministry of Finance. And as the name suggests, their job is to mengfuturekan, futurize things for Malaysia. Contohnya drones, ragtag, blah blah blah. One of the areas was esports. So I remembered that time kerajaan tu masa tu kerajaan Perikatan Nasional di bawah Ketua YB Peja, we call him his nickname, and the Minister of Youth. But we drafted that. I helped Futurize to draft it. But the main people is Futurize lah. I'm not going to take credit for that. I'm not involved in that, but I contribute lah. Yeah. Then later on, when election came in, I think 2 years ago, we have YB Henayo leading. So I think YB Henayo took it I'm not sure who she engaged to draft it. It was very well drafted. And then as you know, last year, bulan May or June, I think she announced the NASDAQ. So that's the... And I see actually banyak ciri-ciri blueprint tu actually wujud dalam NASDAQ. Banyak. To my view lah. Though there are also other things which was not in the blueprint. But I think YB Hana added in other things. Yeah. But both are, to be fair, both are very good. If you read the blueprint and the NASDAQ together, they both have a framework, roadmap, and as a regulator and as a kementerian officer, you baca tu, you boleh ikut lah. Dia bagi satu roadmap.
Tapi as somebody yang part of the blueprint punya team that created that first draft or the first document tu, how pleased are you with the progress of things from that blueprint as of now?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Personally, I think I will talk only about the law first, because my involvement in the blueprint was about the legal framework. I can't really talk about the business side, the talent side. You know, that will be under MESF, formerly known as ESM, and then we can also MSN and OCM, blah blah blah. But in terms of the proposed legal framework, contohnya we propose ada tribunal sukan untuk e-sukan. We also propose assistance in contract, you know, to make sure the contracts are all balanced, blah blah. I think the progress there is slow. We still see pemain-pemain yang tak menerima ganjaran ataupun tak menerima gaji. Then to be fair also, kita juga terdapat kes-kes di mana esports team gets shortchanged by the players. Some players say ya tak masuk, or bila masuk team tu main teruk. So then we have the perennial problem, the organizer. Some are very, very organized. People like Adrian Gafu and Kenchi, Master Raman. These are top class organizers. They know how to organize properly. And lazimnya when they organize things are done. Of course, there's some mistake lah. No one's perfect. They're okay. But there's always this unknown organizer buat tak bayar duit lah, tipu wang lah, you know. So I feel that is still work in progress. And to be fair to the ministry, I must say, susah ministry nak campur tangan dan mengarahkan organizer to do ABC 1, 2, 3. Because the government shouldn't get involved in private sector.
Itu pun dulu private sector.
So you must let the private sector do themselves. Then kalau private sector tu tak ikut undang-undang, then there is the law. Ada mahkamah and there's a police. You know, so if the minister keep on getting involved, then kita dah jadi macam kerajaan sosialis lah. You know. So to be fair to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, I don't think we should always say, alah, minister tak boleh buat. But takkan you expect the minister to go down to tell the organizer, ni tak boleh. That one also cannot be done. That's not right. So, but I do think that under the current leadership, there is a effort to give esports a framework and to try and follow it. And I think the former ministers, in all fairness, they tried, but their time is short. YB Sadiq 2 years, YB Rizal was a year and a half, and then YB Peja was another 1 year and a half. So they don't have enough time. So now, hopefully, aku dengar desas-desus nak tukar kerajaan pula. You know. Ada selalu nak tukar kerajaan. So sometimes I think the opposition should focus on being in opposition. To check and balance the government and make them work harder. Not to complot to always want to change government. So I don't think that's helpful. You change government during election, you know. So I hope this time with the current minister that this minister is given enough time. Contohnya YBKJ. Masa zaman dia, I think kepimpinan YBKJ had one trademark, was he had a long time to do things. And he was effective. He was visionary. He tried to do things in a effective way. And it helped. Masa zaman dia, kita menang medal, and he started this and that. He modernized the sports arena from Stadium Putra tukar ke Axiata Arena. He created generated income, you know. Again, no minister is perfect. I'm sure he would have made mistake. Somebody I'm sure will say, tapi Richard, YBKJ pun ada kelemahan. Of course lah, mana ada minister yang perfect, you know. And I'm not a fanboy for YBKJ. I look at the fact. Apa yang dia buat, kalau dia buat bagus, bagus. Kalau tak buat bagus, I tell you straight, tak buat bagus, you know. And those who tak suka, too bad, you deal with it, you know. That's my style lah. So I think for YBKJ, because he was given a long time, he was effective. So why don't we give the same thing to the current minister? I think YB Hannah is doing a fabulous job. Malaysia is a very masculine country. Semua men. We are very masculine. The ministry, for example, cabinet is full of men. And here we have a lady from a minority race. You know, Malaysia suka kaum Melayu, Cina, India. Everything is about race in Malaysia. I don't know why. We have a minority race minister who's a woman. Yet look at what she's trying to do. She's working really hard to get things running. So why don't we give her a chance?
I also like one of her program that she put out like kan. She wants to try to have a sports category untuk warga yang lebih lanjut.
Yeah.
Ada one time lah. I think they are looking into that, or they have that sort of idea. I read this one article that one time. So I think like what you say lah. Herself being the role model in such a very masculine punya category lah kan. That will pull in the inclusivity in all categories.
Yang tak berani pun jadi macam, I can do it. I can try as well.
Yeah.
And you got to applaud her for her effort. Saya rasa memang tak boleh we can't deny that YB Hanayo is very, very involved. She's trying. So as a rakyat, we should support when the minister is working hard.
Will there ever be an akta for esports specifically?
Actually, that's a good question, Andrew. But what do you want to have in the akta first? Apa yang kita nak akta tu boleh, tapi apa yang kita nak masukkan ke dalam akta tu? What do you mean when you say one of akta esports?
So on top of my head lah kan, is things like welfare untuk players and point. Also organisers, welfare untuk pembangunan also, those kind of akta.
Okay, this is my personal opinion lah. Kalau kandungan macam tu, I don't think we should have an act of parliament especially for esports.
Okay.
Because esports is just one of the sports within the big frame of sports. And some of the issues that you talk about is actually not a legal issue, it's a policy issue. Contohnya. Contohnya, for example, welfare issue. The welfare is already protected under the law called Akta Contract. So there is a contract law, contract act, and then Malaysia menggunakan kaedah mahkamah, we call it common law system. Common law system maknanya undang-undang yang digunakan untuk kerja-kerja harian kita adalah unsur-unsur dan the source of the law from three areas. Satu tu daripada parlimen, akta-akta parlimen yang digubalkan oleh parlimen. Kedua tu keputusan-keputusan mahkamah tinggi, mahkamah rendah, mana-mana mahkamah lah. It creates what we call in English as precedent. Dan kita mengikut. So contohnya, there is a law in Malaysia yang mengatakan that when it comes to traffic, you cannot make a U-turn until there is a U-turn sign.
Okay.
So kalau kita tak ada U-turn sign tu, tak boleh U-turn. There is such a case. Then the third source of law, other than parliament and this common law, is actually the state ordinance. So Perak lah, Kedah lah, Sabah, Sarawak, every state can have their own ordinance. That's another source of law. So for protecting the players' welfare and the tournament welfare is actually, those laws are already there. And also within sports, there is a Sports Development Act. May not be 100% relevant to esports, but the Sports Development Act melibatkan contohnya organizing of tournaments, how to apply to PJS, Pesuruhjaya Sukan, how to do licensing, insurance, blah, 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 is there. And even there's a dispute, there's already the Sports Development Act, we call it SDA lah, Sports Development Act. So SDA created a sports tribunal. It's called Jawatan Kuasa Sports Dispute. So these are Sports Dispute Committee led by Dato' Lau Beng Chu. So who's a lawyer. So this example of the structure which is already ready. So esports can use that. But if you want, for example, Andrew, that we want to protect the players and the tournament, cosplayers, marshals, all our stakeholders, what we need actually is a strong policy. So contohnya, which in the NASDAQ is there, policies like when you organize a tournament, you must be multiracial, multigender, no toxicity, no sexual harassment. And then if you breach this rule, in future maybe your license is taken away, you are not allowed to organize tournament, blah blah blah. These are, for example. And of course, if you tak bayar, you get sued under contract law. Kalau tipu, you get arrested under penal code, police. So it's ready lah, the framework is there. But to come up with one specific act of parliament for esports, my view is I don't think so. Because then other sports will ask, what about us? You know, so like contohnya baru-baru ni kita dengar safe sports. A lot of people talk about safe sports.
Yep.
So I know the people behind safe sports wanted an act of parliament. And I understand why they want it there, because they want to protect the athletes from the vultures, yang boy-boy darat dia nak kacau perempuan kan. Or even young boys, so for those who are they swing the other way, for example. I understand that. But if you have a sexual harassment act for sports or safe sports for sports only, so are you saying that the coach cannot disturb the player during games, but the coach can disturb the person after games? How do you draw that?
Oh yeah.
Where do you draw that line? Of course, I'm simplifying. So that's why in the end, I actually personally I support the safe sports program. I think orang-orang yang memulakan safe sport tu, we owe them a big favor because they started this group. I think the principal person was Puan Sarina. She was very passionate about this. So well done to you, Sarina. Well done. But when YB Hana came up with the safe sports code, my personal opinion is that's correct lah. You do code first, and then force people to follow. And then kalau you jahat, you naughty, police come in. There's law on this, yeah.
You know, if that's the case, right, what act or what kind of stuff that we e-sport can follow take from the normal sport punya undang-undang, like lagi-lagi belah saman menyaman ni kan, for like tak puas hati punya conduct, like what can we do kalau contohnya mistreated as a caster yang tak dibayar untuk beberapa tahun, atau benda not as more serious than that lah. Like, what do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about sports law for a while.
Yeah.
Undang-undang Sukan. Sports law at the moment, there is no one particular akta just for sports law.
Yeah, okay.
The closest is the SDA lah, Sports Development Act. But that act is about, contohnya, as I said earlier, to organise tournament.
Yeah,
then that act of parliament created the sports commissioner, pejabat PJS, dibentuk dan dilahirkan daripada akta parlimen SDA tu. As you know, sports commissioner is a very important person. This is the person, the policeman of sports, you know. But other than that, all the other source of sports law adalah daripada contohnya from WADA Code. The WADA Code is a World Anti-Doping Agency for drugs. So they have their own code. Number two, every sports tournament have a rule. Olympic lah, ASEAN Games lah, basketball, World Cup, badminton, World Championship, squash, international tournament. They have their own rules. So we follow those rules. Then the next one is the source is the perlembagaan, persatuan yang terlibat. So contohnya FIFA, one of the world's biggest association. FIFA, perlembagaan FIFA tu aku rasa lebih tebal daripada buku sekolah yang kita ada. Banyak undang-undang. They fill up with so many rules. Kita kena comply. Jadi siapa main bola tu kena ikut. So there is no akta parlimen, as you can see. So so you want to say, oh, how should we follow them? That's how they do it. So for esports, actually at the moment, saya memang nampak, my personal opinion is, orang-orang yang terlibat dalam e-squad, terutamanya orang yang involved in tournament organising, the last 3 to 4 years memang has moved towards from cowboy to let's follow the rule, let's follow the law. And for the case yang Abang Lin bagi tu, siapa yang tak terima ganjaran tu, actually your remedy is to complain to the organizer, lodge a police report or sue. Saya faham mungkin you cannot get a lawyer, oh mahal lah. But there are always some lawyers out there who's willing to help you on pro bono. Pro bono maknanya percuma. You know, but at the same time, you also got to understand, lawyer tu pun nak cari makan. The lawyer probably got their own family to pay. So some lawyers will say, sorry, I can't do this for free. But there's always some lawyer willing to send letter, surat tuntutan, memberi warning to organizer, kalau kamu tak bayar aku masuk ke mahkamah gitu. So I think that can be done, especially for them. And I think that's the biggest problem. Tak menerima ganjaran. I think most people in esports, I notice, they are very upset about it. And rightly so. Mana orang kerja tak dapat ganjaran? How can you do that? You know, this is actually an insult to the person's work effort. So to answer the question, I think we can refer to the pre-existing law, undang-undang yang memang wujud sekarang. Dan kalau kita ikut sports law, those are the sources of law which we can follow and maybe get inspired by. And esports actually already have a certain structure. What they lack now is that the biggest lacking in esports is kita tidak ada satu persatuan macam IOC or FIFA, the headquarters to control and guide and regulate. Why FIFA football is very organized is because FIFA is very organized. Why is contohnya sukan yang tak berapa popular di Malaysia, saya bagi contoh, table tennis. Table tennis is not very popular in Malaysia, but it's a very powerful sport. Softball, not very popular in Malaysia, but they were very powerful sport. Why? Because dia punya headquarters di mana lah, whether in Korea ke whatever, it's very strong. So like many people don't know that the headquarters for badminton in the world is in KL. Pejabat dia sini di Kuala Lumpur. Then ibu pejabat bola sepak untuk satu Asia, the whole Asia, from the Middle East all the way to Japan, Korea, right, and North Mongolia all the way south to Indonesia, is in KL. Pejabat dia kat Kuala Lumpur, Bukit Jalil. So even badminton, for Asian badminton, other than the world headquarters, Asian badminton is in Petaling Jaya. So we have, and they are very, very effective. They have a structure.
Tapi dalam case esports, right? Kenapa,
we don't have that.
We don't have that because one thing, the game is also controlled by publisher.
That's
they
the
create
biggest
the
problem.
rule of the game, you know, whatever it is around it, right?
That's the biggest challenge.
So that's the biggest challenge. But in your opinion, what is the best way to work around this system for esports?
You know, very funny you ask the question, Andrew, because tahun 2018 tak salah aku, Brian and I and some of my ex-colleagues, we wrote a very long article on this, and we suggested that we must form the world international, so-called the FIFA lah, of esports.
Is that the current like IESF and all that? Is that what you mean?
They have it, but let me explain something.
All right.
They all have it now, but the problem is who is in it? Who is in it? The biggest missing party are the publishers. And if you don't get the publisher involved, it won't work. to be fair, I'm very certain all the international federation of esports, sekarang banyak, ada global esports lah, international esports lah, IESF lah, banyak. They tried. I'm sure they tried. They would have looked for whoever come bro.
And everyone.
They would have asked, but there is not enough incentive for the publisher to come in. For the publisher, like, why bro? Why should I join you? I'm making money. My job is to make money. I'm a businessman. I got a game. 10 million people playing the games every day. And I got shareholders. Shareholders give me money. I take the money, created the game, get profit. Aku bayar balik shareholders.
Yeah.
So that's my job. I'm not bothered whether who's president or whatever. So you need to give these people, the publisher, the motivation to go in, Andrew. And once publisher go in, you know very well, it will start working. Because we got a group of people who are sports administrators.
Yeah.
The current IESF people, you can see they are businessmen, they are, some may say they are opportunists, but they are business people. These are people who have a vision that I want to do World Cup for football, but for esports. Blah, 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 right? So if we have that, and we wrote that in an article, and that article I remember was, banyak orang copy our article after that.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was accepted as this is the correct way. Tapi not enough motivation lah.
Okay, then I want to be the bad guy sikit lah kan.
Oh, okay.
Okay, assuming that structure tiba-tiba works in one fine day.
Yeah.
You get one person contohnya to be in the board of IESF. But you don't get someone from Riot. Or you don't get someone from Valve. So then it's still missing out somewhere.
I agree.
Yeah, and then people can say that, because maybe some of the activities they are skewed towards this one publisher, and some of the publishers that were not involved don't get those activities. So macam imbalance dekat situ. So how are we ever going to get that balance if not okay, I rephrase again. It will, in my opinion, I think that realistically it won't be possible to get every single publisher involved.
Not in the short term.
From the big to the small.
Yeah, not in the short term. Yeah.
So
I totally agree with you, Andrew. Number one, saya rasa
how is that going to happen?
Pada hemat saya, secara jangka masa pendek, kalau kita katakanlah in the ideal world, kita dapatkan mempelewa ke semua publisher memasuki ke global esports ni, it will take time before everyone comes in. And so in the meanwhile, there will be the imbalance. And they must find a motivation to get in. So one of the best motivation is to give them a say in the tournament. And then not to disturb the publishers in their profit-making business. Because they are a company. And to grant the people, the esports people to run the tournament. So they control the tournament, whereas a publisher control the game. That is one of the potential balance. Then in the meanwhile, because for contohnya only Tencent joined first, the rest haven't gone in yet. So I believe they should work with the person who's in, make it successful. Then the rest will say like, hey, actually you're not bad. And then they get attracted to join.
So we are not forcing them to join. Say, macam best. So I want to join as well. So that's the best way.
I think that will be one of the better way. Yeah.
Like there's a case study there that's like, that's the reason why I should join.
I should join. So it make more sense. For example, so then, but I think that is why esports at the moment, the tournaments and the players' rights tidak boleh dipertahankan secara kukuh. Sebab organisasi esports ni secara lazimnya tidak kuat. Tidak kuat.
Okay.
So for example like MESF, we are very critical. Many people are critical about MESF. Tak buat ni, tak buat ni. But to be fair, they don't have a big brother to help them.
Yeah.
They can only do things in Malaysia. So if they don't have a strong big brother to help them, there's only so much they can do.
Tak gerak lah.
Yeah. So I feel eventually esports, if you don't get this structure right, then it will continue being a cowboy. But maybe less cowboy lah, but still cowboy.
So in your opinion, it's better to have it from top to bottom rather than bottom to top lah?
No, not necessarily. I think if the bottom is very strong, maybe we will attract the other countries to form a proper one. It's possible, but historically, all sports in the world top down. all. But esports a bit different because esports starts from the publisher. And it starts from that small internet cafe in Bangkok, or that 3 boys who started a esports cafe in Miami. Then they build up, and then these people created wealth. These people created Tencent in China, for example, lah. Then so I think maybe esports may be the other way around, where the state, when I say state, I'm talking about Malaysia state, Singapore state. They are esports federation very strong, very protecting, very careful. Then maybe the rest will follow lah. But at the same time, like I said earlier, but when they want to enforce, so for example, why I say that, Andrew, if you get a player yang menipu di Malaysia, nama dia Rick Wee, dia main Dota, tipu. Lepas tu MESF Malaysia ban, you're banned from Malaysia. Aku tukar nama tu Wirik. Dan aku pergi Papua New Guinea pula. Papua New Guinea tournament. They won't stop me. There's no world body to stop me from playing kat Papua New Guinea.
It's this area.
And to make it worse, esports is internet. Aku kat Ipoh tengah main. Tapi tournament kat Papua New Guinea, nobody can stop me. So that's what I meant by you do need some big brother to help. I'm looking at the angle.
It's like the China punya rules about gaming. Like you need your IC to play the game, so you cannot do anything else.
So China very strong. China kalau you tipu the pop, kick out, you're dead.
You're bad. It's not like, oh, let's just make a new account then. They can't.
You remember about 7-8 years ago, there were this kind of cases. Player yang caught cheating and all that. Tapi tiba-tiba nampak, they're still playing but under different name.
They just use a different account or something
but
like that.
But there is some games that if you do that, it's called ban evasion. And that's a bigger fault lah.
But that's where the Lin yang enforce the publisher.
Publisher kena buat.
You see? Not the esports tournament. So the publisher, they may enforce, but they're just a company. You know, and I don't say that when I use the word just a company, aku bukannya
mempelekehkan
looking down there, but to be fair to them, they're a company. For example, you deal with syarikat ABC, dia orang jual nasi lemak, so they deal nasi lemak lah. They're not going to tell you, saya membuat regulation nasi lemak. That's not their job. So I think that's where we are. We are in that very weird situation of neither here nor there, but yet we are somewhere here and there.
You make it sound like it's a positive because it is a positive technically. Apa yang jadi kat Malaysia ni. We are growing. Esport in Malaysia is still growing, and based on what you're saying, it's growing in a good way.
I hope so lah. And look, to me, kalau I always look at it this way. Kalau orang complain, orang kata apalah, can be better. You only mean one thing, you know. It means people are interested.
Okay,
I like
that.
And
people care. Kalau kita tak kisah, benda tu comoh lah, kotor lah, then you just say,
so what?
Okay lah, so what? I just get out. But here where people, no lah bro, macam ni lah, we can do this, we can do that. We hear this all the time. Kat Twitter now it's called X. We hear that complaint all the time. Kat Twitch, you go and watch. Ada selalu orang complain. But it's because they care. So that means people are invested in this industry. And if we are able to work together and move in one direction, especially now with this ministry, you never know. But it take time lah, Andrew. Lin, it take time. I don't think because of the way esports was born, it will not be like okay, one more thing. People don't realize sukan bola sepak ni pun sejarah dia bukan macam sekarang. Bukannya, okay bro, let's play this game. It's called football. Then let me tell you the rule. 11 against 11 under offside. No. It took many years. Many years. The first people who played this game called football, they main macam kasar, macam rugby.
The langkah.
Langkah, you know. Then eventually from that game, they break into two. Satu jadi bola sepak, satu jadi rugby. But they all started the same. Then they took another few more decades. Then they came up with the rules. Then suddenly they kata, ini asyik main curi ayam. Curi ayam. Always offside. Then they created the rule called offside. Then it evolved. So even games like football, it took many decades, not that many years. Banyak tahun untuk menjadi macam ni. Whereas esports, just 10 years.
Baru
Only 10 years,
lagi.
yeah. Only 10 years. So I think it'll take time lah. But if everybody work together, you know what, Andrew? I think 50 years from now, I won't be around lah. By then I'll be dead already. But 50 years from now, esports will be different. And people will find this video one day and say, alah, apa dia bodoh masa zaman tu. But 50 years from now, it will be developed.
That's the whole point of me doing this podcast lah kan.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just put aside macam orang nak tengok ke, viewership ke and all that. We just put aside. This is like the artifact pieces that few years later you look back and say, did that thing actually happen or not?
Yeah.
You are making a time capsule.
It's a time capsule. Of thoughts of people like Richard and all our other guests juga.
And also, I would love to like hear thought of you from you, because it's going to give someone else some ideas. It's like, oh, that's a good idea.
Hopefully. I mean, I came here because I want to speak to Sir Cloud. I just got to know you today.
That's fine.
But more importantly is that I'm hoping apa yang kita cakap kat sini, kita boleh memberi inspirasi dan idea kepada orang lain untuk melakukan esports industry secara tepat, betul, saksama, transparency, and please be responsible and accountable. Kalau kita selalu treat the industry secara remeh-temeh, then the industry will collapse, then there's only one person to blame, ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Okay, jadi apa yang kes-kes yang biasa orang datang cari, Mr. Richard?
Kes peguam lah.
Berkenaan e-sport lah.
Untuk esports, for esports matters, I think the main one is of course contractual disputes lah. Orang yang tak terima ganjaran. Saya rasa bila saya terima kes macam ni, saya rasa marah. I always feel, what the hell is this lah? Come on. And the organizer bukannya organizer tak dapat duit. Why are you doing this to people? So yes, I get that one issue. I do get questions about how to get to frame the tournaments. Then on a more corporate level, we get work on, for example, international deals to do contracts related to esports, to do transactions. And the other one, as you know, I just mentioned earlier, sometimes the kerajaan will look for us, which I'm very humble lah. I mean, kita boleh bantu kerajaan kita, so nice to help our government. So in 2018-19, we helped on the blueprint. And then in 2022, I was helping with what is now known as NASDAQ. So then the other area, I nampak ada kes kadang-kadang tu perbalahan semasa tournament. So
this one physical or
no, that one. I mean, as in dispute je lah.
Okay.
Ada physical pun ada, tapi tak sampai saya lah. But I, for example, the one which I mentioned just now was Air Asia Sanyan. I remember the case in Indonesia or something, where there were two set of rules, and Air Asia got so unhappy that they withdrew from the tournament. I can't remember the details lah.
It's MPL related lah.
I think so lah. It was a Jakarta tournament.
Okay.
So that case didn't come to me, but we gave an opinion in the article about that. Because, and then later on, a few other companies, clubs came to us. Then I've also got involved in a few player trading lah, buy sell player. I again cannot mention who they are. These are PNC, but I'm very humble lah that the esports industry, they will contact us to help them. Actually, I must say that secara lazimnya all the stakeholders in esports, they be very kind to us, because we are, orang Kelantan kata jangok lah, we are out of position, like we got people like you all, casters, all important, necessary fellas for the tournament, and then got one lawyer who's like, what is Richard doing here? And then for a long time, we were the only lawyer for a long time. Now there are other law firms doing esports, which is good. And so I felt when I met people like Clement from that time. Bleed was in what's the name of his
Pantheon.
Pantheon. Before I think he left Pantheon. And then we have Clement, we got Benny, our Chakwe King. Then Wanro, Flower. This Master Raman. I think when Master Raman first met me, he was looking at me, you ni siapa? But he accepted me. and he was very obliging to bring me into the community. Kenji, the Minaski people, banyak orang Minaski. They are always, they look at me lawyer, but initially like siapa ni, then they brought me into the community. So I think because the community by nature, they feel that RWC is part of the community, so they don't look at us as an outsider lah. And so I'm not they and us, but it's more like we, you know. And from there, Andrew, because of that relationship, I get a lot of funny inquiries lah. Funny, even harassment cases, orang body shaming, you know, that they come to us, and then we will help them by hunting down the body shamer. And then even ESM dulu and MBSF, they contacted us before, asked us for opinion, give them guidance. And then now, of course, there's this dispute. There are two esports federation. One is MESF, and then the other one, another association, right? So that's another big hoo-ha that I'm not involved in that, but I can see that, this is going to be another future problem. So I think the most of the often Andrew, the most disputes are, number one, contractual issues relating to ganjaran. Number two, now more and more corporate matters, corporate macam take over, buy and sell things and all that. And number three, tournaments. A lot of tournament organizers come ask me about the rules and this and all that. And then the last one is quite rampant last time, but the last 1 year, 2 years a bit quiet, is harassment lah. Harassment cases. So, but now the last 1-2 years, most of my work are corporate lah. Buy and sell player, Malaysian esports companies sign contract with foreign company, work with sponsors, dealing with sponsors, even dealing with their own disputes. Kadang-kadang sama-sama shareholder gaduh. So we step in to help them. So take care of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. There is one thing that we always talk about, and we as in maybe like friends ke whoever random people lah kan. Let's say lah, if the ganjaran thingy tak dibayar, you do a job, lepas tu tak dibayar, but the amount is not that big. Let's say the amount is like, let's say 1-2,000 lah, for example lah, right? People would think that, alah 1-2,000 je, I want to engage lawyer, I have to pay lawyer, waste my time and all that. That. At the end of the day, if they don't want to pay, or you know, at some point they just give up lah.
I found.
Like what's your opinion on this?
Totally agree. It's very hard to engage a lawyer, and I don't think, let's be frank, no lawyer will take up the work lah, because the lawyers will need to earn money. Actually, there's an option. Bila orang tu utang kita jumlahnya kurang daripada RM5,000, there is this mahkamah special. It's called a small claims court.
Small claims court.
Just a shout out to my law firm. Ini bukan nak promote law firm but my law firm wrote an article about this, how to initiate a case in the small claims tribunal. So if you Google cari, you can see my law firm website. We have hundreds of articles, and we have, I think, about 99 or 100 YouTube videos.
Whoa.
One of that is about this. So you can go have a look at it. And from there, we'll guide you, say, okay, when you want to file a suit, you can do yourself. And then the mahkamah will help you. The mahkamah will help you. And then I think in some cases, kalau gaji kamu kurang daripada RM2,000,
okay,
you can go to the bar council. Pejabat tiap-tiap negeri ada bar council. So there's a headquarters is bar council. Then there's a Perak bar, Kelantan bar, Selangor bar, blah, blah, blah. And you can Google, can tell them, find out where's the office. They have a legal aid center.
Wow.
Dan legal center ni peguam memberi perkhidmatan percuma jikalau gaji kamu di bawah, kalau tak silap saya RM2,000 sebulan. Tak silap saya lah.
Okay.
So it's meant to help people of impecunious position. Then the other option is that to give a call to your friends who are lawyers lah. There's always some friend who's a lawyer that he or she will be able to guide you and help you. But my opinion is, don't give up. I know remeh temeh, the Chinese will say mafan. Very mafan. But kalau kita selalu give up, then yang menang tu yang tipu lah.
Dia orang menang.
Dia menang lah. So I know some organizers will be very angry. So Richard, you call me penipu. But yeah, bro, you didn't pay what?
Tipu lah tu.
Yeah, you didn't pay what? So, so to me, there is that process. I know it's difficult, but we must always remember this, ladies and gentlemen. My personal mantra: life is always unfair. Just accept that life is unfair. Then, bila you dah accept tu, when it happen to you, you don't complain and cry. Instead, you find solution. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel, aduh, aku kena lagi. It's okay. Tapi don't let it pull you down. A lot of people say, life is not fair. I'm angry. Nobody helping me. Of course.
You're not doing anything.
So it's instead. So if you take a position that, memang unfair life, what can I do? You go and solve lah. Then if you, all of you, then don't do alone. You get a few fellas, 6-7 of you yang tak diterima bayar gaji tu. Take action. Pick two proactive. Then eventually, after a while, the message we send to the people who run tournaments and teams, so that okay, I better not mess around. Because the community will fight back.
Tapi the first action normally people will take is pergi social media. Is that the right first move in your
That's
opinion?
Dangerous, you know.
But sometimes it works. Like
Yeah, sometimes it works kan? Yeah, your case it works.
Is my payment from April last year? I waited. I email every month.
Have they paid you?
Then the story is last week I posted on Facebook. I've been waiting for a month. I didn't say any name. I just
No, you put out the name.
no. I didn't put out the name.
Or is there a different one?
It's a different one. I
Okay.
didn't put out the name. I screenshot the timing of me sending the email every month. I just post on Facebook. Immediately he texts me, "Can I pay you using PayPal?" Immediately after that, so I got the payment lah.
How come I think I know which one this is? But okay.
But
I was
you're right.
texting with you.
Oh yeah.
But you're right, Andrew, Lynn.
Okay.
The social media is effective. Can be effective.
Double-edged sword lah.
But it's dangerous because
Yeah, it's dangerous.
kalau kita tidak menggunakan perkataan yang sewajarnya
Yeah.
dalam peletakan social media itu, atau kita memberi kenyataan yang penuh emosi
Yeah.
dan nampak macam kita emotional, kita boleh kena sue
Yeah.
for defamation. You can get
Defamation.
sued
Yes.
for defamation. And the other party end up you pula bayar dia.
Yep.
So that it's got to be careful lah.
Yeah.
I would not recommend that, but I can understand that. I can understand.
It took me a while to write up the text because again I don't want any emotion. I'm just saying the fact that like, hey, I haven't got my money. Yeah, I'm making a joke out of it.
But I'm happy you got the money.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Even the PayPal took like the 25 ringgit because of the charge. I was like,
At that point, you'll be like, whatever lah.
It's fine.
Just take some fees,
good.
right? Yeah. But social media, Andrew, got to be a bit more careful lah.
Yeah.
But call a lawyer, go to the mahkamah, check this thing called the Small Claims Tribunal. That is why, like Andrew, I recommended in the blueprint and even in Perak when YB Howard was doing it, which YB Howard accepted this suggestion that we must have a special tribunal for esports. Not mahkamah tau. Ini tribunal. Macam
What's the difference?
Okay, mahkamah adalah is a system under the is a badan di bawah kelolaan parlimen. Parlimen created mahkamah. Tribunal adalah, for example, tribunal perumahan, tribunal this JPJ. These are all local small tribunal, very simple, basic, normally run by the ministry. And this is meant to make it fast, quick, cheap, simple. Get a solution, yes or no. You know. So to me, we should have that. For example, football. If you are red card, there's a tribunal. The tribunal will listen whether the red card is valid or not. The VR. So that tribunal bukan mahkamah. It's run by people like us. You know. So I recommended it to YB Hubbard in 2018. He accepted it. So many people don't know that we drafted the Para Ordinance. In state it's called Ordinance. In Parliament it's called Akta. So we drafted the Ordinance for Para Esports Tribunal. We drafted it. It's with Para. Yeah, in 2018.
Can the tribunal be national level or only state level?
Can.
Can.
But at the time, because the national level not ready yet. But Perak was ready. But as you know what happened in Perak lah, tukar kerajaan.
we won't go down that.
There's a rabbit hole that I don't want to go in.
Okay. So then, now in current time, when now it's a bit more steady, what's stopping the current from having the tribunal?
That's why I feel the things have moved now. I think they are trying to utilize what we have at the moment. So contohnya di Malaysia there is a very international based arbitration center called AIAC, which stands for Asian International Arbitration Center. And I think that is a possibility that the government may use that platform to hear cases like this. And I think, to be fair, just like when YB Syed Saddiq was in charge, I think the current minister is still studying. Because to be fair, there's a massive implication to do this. Because the question will be, why only esports? Yeah. But having said that, as I mentioned just now about, I think, the first or second portion, there is already a jawatan kuasa, well, in English is Sports Dispute Committee, led by Dato' Lau Ping Chu. We can refer to them actually.
However, I think for the question of why only esports, because esports punya rules is unique. Every different game title is different. So I think the tribunal, one thing I can imagine how it will function so if you remember, you were involved as well in the case of a FPS player, Joki, that time. I think it was towards second half of last year, somewhere there.
Correct.
Yeah. So if there was a tribunal, that case can go to the tribunal.
Yes, probably.
And tribunal can
decide,
make the final call again.
Yeah.
And I think that is good to have that juga, because
I think that was the one MESF handled, right? And
I didn't say that. You say that.
I can't remember it. I can't remember it.
I try not to mention names.
Okay.
But because the rules are unique. So even if you get someone from outside of esports, you can't even tell the difference what is Call of Duty and Valorant.
Oh yes,
so
that is right.
Yeah, so that apatah lagi the rules kan.
Lagi ada niche dalam tu lagi lah orang macam I don't know.
Yeah. So you need someone who understand the game in order to hear the tribunal.
So is that justified enough because of the technical understanding to have tribunal special?
No, that was my justification.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That was my bila kita memulakan projek tu pada tahun 2000, by the time we started was 2019 lah. That was my justification to the Perak state government lah, that esports is unique. Because CSGO and Dota 2 is different rules.
Yeah.
And you cannot apply one rule for everything. So I also took inspiration that memang di dunia sukan, memang dah ada tribunal. It's called Court of Arbitration for Sports, which is headquarters in Switzerland.
But that one is for sports including esports?
Esports is not included there yet. Because again, we got one problem, Andrew, the same problem. We don't have a legitimate, okay, let me rephrase that. We don't have one international body to represent all. And
so
CAS, you call CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, or CAS. CAS or CAS, they will recognize the international federation. So now my question to you is, which international federation?
Oh God.
The closest one is macam IESF and
there is global lah, whatever.
GEF.
So this is one of these. So they don't know. And they don't know, they cannot bring in lah. So, but if we have that, I think having a tribunal will help a long way lah, Andrew and Lynn, to give people a chance. I always use the word, to give a chance to equalize the inequality. I think the tribunal have a chance, but I have no idea why the current ministry is haven't doing that. It's not doing that for esports. Maybe it's WIP, work in progress. We don't know. Not fair to speculate. But it's there lah. It's for them to just figure it out.
I see. Okay. That's a lot of interesting input. Okay. So we're actually towards the end of our podcast. This is a very interesting one. Already. Honestly, I rasa macam like this podcast tak cukup masa. It's like we need to have multiple episodes for this. I'm so mind blown.
Okay, just fun fact for everyone at home. Our recording session is 1 hour and 41.
Already.
Already, it doesn't feel like it is. There's so much information that's coming. I feel like I'm back in class.
Oh, that's so good. It's so good stuff. Okay, but as one of our towards the end session, what is your personal punya future plan? Like,
for esports,
like whether it's for your
personal
career, and also your personal. What are the bucket list that you want to do?
Okay, so when you talk about future, first I get this questions all the time, Andrew. First, especially this is recorded. So if I do this in a conference or in an event, I'll just say it. Then no problem. But because it's recorded, first we must take note that I'm speaking in January 2024. First thing, today is January 24. So you may watch this video in 2028. So you'll be wondering, why is he talking? He has done it,
Fair enough.
So that's the first thing, January 24. Looking forward for esports, I intend to continue serving the esports community. I think many people in the esports community know that I have constantly provided pro bono advice. Kita selalu cuba tolong. But to be fair, some esports people do take advantage lah. They call me, they expect it to be free, But we try to assist. Kita tahu, especially when we deal with young cosplayers, athletes, casters who are young, and then we know that they are being played out. So we try to help. So I hope to continue doing that. And my ambition in 2016 when we started was to always have a department just to do esports. So at the moment, I have one colleague with me who's herself is the former secretary of MESPA, the Malaysian Esports Players Association, and she herself is a player. She is very well versed with esports. So, and prior to that, in 2016-17 was Brian Boo. I always wanted to do that. Maybe, hopefully, one day I'm able to form a proper department doing esports. But for now, it's always just me and this lawyer, 2 of us out of 8 of us, helping esports. Next one.
Time to study law.
Come and join my firm.
Yeah, and you know where to go next.
Yeah. And in terms of outside esports, of course, we hope to grow. I think this year, 2024, there may be some upcoming changes to my firm. I'm not at liberty to disclose it yet, but watch out for our social media announcement, especially on LinkedIn. Sorry, I realize it's very boring. We're on LinkedIn. Actually, for your information, Andrew, we are the only law firm in Malaysia, and I'm very confident. I think we still are. We have a Twitch TV. We have a Twitch TV.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone.
Yeah. During PKP, they actually do live stream to talk about issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
certain topics.
We had Kemi, we had Kimberly, we had Clement, Flava. We spoke about disputes, and because our Twitch is the free account, so our videos are not saved.
I mean, the big one also is not safe as well.
So we experimented with it. We enjoyed it. But like I said, we are lawyers. We don't have the technical abilities like what we have here. It is so well organized, cameras and all this stuff. So we did that to help the esports rakyat. I call it the esports rakyat, the esports community. So in moving forward, my firm will be hopefully evolving and using more of this. Especially Twitch and TikTok is one area we may or may not go in, but look out for our LinkedIn for our new announcement.
There's a lot of TikTok lawyers.
Yes,
I showed him.
Some of them are really very effective. Well done to them.
You can reach the belia better.
Yeah. Especially if you want, our aim is to assist and support. But so this year there may be some changes in the firm, and then hopefully, for the country, for our Malaysia, so for esports, next for my firm, and then for the country, I hope Malaysia maintain stability. The whole world is going through a post-pandemic fever, price going up like crazy, and then the war is going on in Israel and Palestine, the war going in Russia and Ukraine, and people forgot one more factor, the fact that Britain left Europe that has shaken the economy.
For what was it called again?
Brexit. Yeah, so that's a shaken economy, the world economy. And then we need to also see what's happening in America, because it looks like the Republicans are going to choose the same candidate. And that person, some people may like him, some people will find him destructive. To me, whichever way, I feel that this person is actually causing
more harm than good.
More harm than good. Yeah, that's my opinion lah.
Same
If
opinion.
you don't agree, you can disagree with me. But that's my hope for Malaysia: some stability for us, so that Malaysians can continue growing and get out of this pandemic, post-pandemic era better lah.
Yeah, it's hard with the start of World War III right now.
I hope not. Yeah.
I mean, people are saying it's already started because of what America did with
Ukraine and Russia and Israel and
the Bangladesh, the Yamani, because American bombed Yamani's people for no reason. So that started. This is like the start of World War III.
We just came out from a pandemic. We should be thankful to be alive. Then we have idiots pressing the button to shoot missiles.
Hey, what's this button?
The big red button. But what is your one advice you would give to the esports community, especially belia-belia ni yang muda-muda lah kan? Apa satu nasihat tu?
Thanks for that opportunity to ask. And before we end this podcast, once again, I want to thank Lynn and Andrew for having me here. I think it's a very good opportunity to chit-chat, and I am thankful that I have the chance to share my knowledge with all of you. And to the esports community, my advice has always been, there are many levels when it comes to players and cosplayers and people who are casters. Do your work properly, do your work carefully, be responsible, read your contracts, please read your contracts. For those who are in the so-called in the control, like the companies, the club owners and the publishers, especially the big guys in publishers, be kind. Be kind. We are all in this journey together, and if we continue to be destructive, then esports is not going to make it. If we continue to money come first, profit come first, fame come first, then we will see the demise of esports quite fast. Because if you don't attract followers, you don't attract sponsors, you don't attract industry players, then your industry will die. At the moment, the one main thing the esports have are your many followers. So we have a tournament in Genting, 3,000 tickets sold. We have a esports tournament, Dota 2 International. Millions of people long in to watch the international. So that's what the main thing you have. But if you continue being destructive, toxic,
nothing will happen.
Then you will just slowly fade away. Yeah. So be good, be kind, read your contracts, and watch this podcast more often so that you can learn from people like Lynn and Andrew. Thank you very much, and have a good new year.
Alright, thank you very much Richard for being with us and berkongsi ilmu semua ni, dan rasanya satu episod memang tak cukup.
We did part 2.
Hopefully kita kena
boleh
balik lah untuk episod yang akan datang. Tetapi kalau anda semua nak follow Richard Wee Chambers, ada dekat social media lah. Facebook, LinkedIn,
Instagram, Twitter.
And Twitter. Diorang pun cool
the
kids
Twitch
juga.
Just put the Twitch is there.
And also we have Twitch
juga.
And podcast.
Nanti kita tinggalkan link dekat dalam
I'll send you the link later. Yeah,
we'll put the links in the description. So anyway, thank you so much again. And who would you like to see as our next guest? Siapa yang anda nak lihat sebagai tetamu kita yang seterusnya, boleh tinggalkan di ruangan komen. Till then, see you guys. Bye.
Bye. Adios amigos.